Reports are pointing to Thor 5 landing in theaters around 2028, set after Secret Wars. Chris Hemsworth will once again pick up the hammer, and this time the celestial Arishem is rumored to be the main villain. Even more exciting, the movie is expected to feature some of the Eternals. Marvel's known for its creative storytelling and bold risks, but let's be honest, the last few years haven't exactly been smooth. Phase 4 stumbled both critically and financially. Eternals, for example, barely crossed $400 million worldwide, which is a huge drop for a film on that scale. That disappointment led Marvel to cancel the planned sequel and double down on safer crowd pleasers like Deadpool and Spider-Man. Still, Eternals 2 left a ton of story threads hanging, especially the setup for a huge celestial conflict. But word is, those dangling plots might find new life in Thor 5. The next movie will reportedly dig deep into the cosmic side of the MCU, exploring gods, ancient powers, and universe-scale manipulation. Harry Styles' Eros might have a big part to play, with flashbacks revealing the history of Titan, and even Thanos' childhood, maybe even how his twisted philosophy began. That's the kind of backstory Marvel can't afford to skip. Hemsworth himself has teased that Thor 5 could be his final run as the God of Thunder. If that's true, this one needs to go out with a bang. A war between New Asgard and the Celestials, something straight out of the comics, would make for a killer finale. And with Galactus, Thor 5 could also serve as the bridge that brings the Devourer of Worlds fully into the main timeline of MCU. And then there's Hercules. We saw his introduction in Love and Thunder, clearly set up as a rival to Thor, but come on, we all know he's not staying a villain. Their dynamic in the comics is pure gold. Rivalry, banter, and eventually a reluctant team-up. Brett Goldstein and Chris Hemsworth facing off or teaming up against something as massive as Arishem or Galactus could give Marvel exactly the kind of spectacle it's been missing. If Marvel plays it smart, Thor 5 could reignite its entire cosmic storyline and give Hemsworth a proper send-off. By merging the Eternals threads, Galactus' arrival, and the mythology of the Celestials, this movie could restore fan faith and carve out a new era for the MCU's cosmic saga. Reports say Thor 5 is shaping up to be darker and more mature, very different from Taika Waititi's comedy-heavy tone. After Love and Thunder bombed with both fans and critics, Waititi's officially out. Marvel's looking for a new director, and George Miller has reportedly shown real interest. After working with Hemsworth on Furiosa, he seems eager to reunite. Now, Waititi nailed Ragnarok, no question, but Love and Thunder missed the mark hard. Even Hemsworth admitted that some of the film's tonal issues came from his own choices. He leaned too far into the goofy side and lost the weight of Thor's character. That kind of honesty is promising though. Fans are ready for something that feels darker and more mythic, more fantasy than farce. Hemsworth's been vocal about wanting that shift too, a story that pushes Thor to his emotional and psychological limits. After everything he's been through in the MCU, his arc deserves a real, resonant ending. Thor films have always struggled to find their balance. The first two tried the Shakespearean route with heavy drama, but they didn't hit as hard as Iron Man or Captain America. Then Ragnarok came along, changed the tone, and blew up at the box office. But when Love and Thunder tried to double down on the humor, the heart got lost in the process. That doesn't mean the fifth movie needs to throw comedy out the window. The humor can still work, it just needs to feel earned. Ragnarok was funny and emotional. Love and Thunder was just funny. Even Hemsworth said the next film needs a drastic tonal shift. Something fresh that keeps him invested. If Marvel can nail that balance again, heart, humor, and a touch of darkness, Thor's final chapter could end up being one of the MCU's biggest comebacks. One of the most exciting directions Marvel could take Thor 5 in is by adapting the King Thor storyline. In this arc, we see an older, battle-worn Thor facing the literal end of the universe. As the All-Father and ruler of Asgard, he carries the impossible weight of keeping the last remnants of existence alive. His enemies this time aren't just monsters or gods, they're personal. His brother Loki has returned, stronger and crueler than ever, and even his own granddaughters, the goddesses of thunder, are ready to defy him in their desperate attempt to save what's left of their dying world. It's a story steeped in legacy, redemption, and the endless cycle of creation and destruction. It would make for a beautiful, tragic final chapter for Thor's journey, and give Chris Hemsworth the chance to explore the full emotional depth of his character, the regret, the weariness, and the cost of being a god for so long. The MCU's direction after Secret Wars is still a mystery, but there's growing buzz that Marvel might start moving away from tightly connected storylines. Instead, they could focus more on standalone projects with distinct tones and creative freedom. In that case, a King Thor movie would be a perfect fit, a dark, mythic, self-contained story that caps off Thor's saga with a grand, bittersweet finale. Another interesting option for Thor 5 is to introduce Ares, the Greek god of war and brother to Hercules, as the main villain. First appearing in 1966, Ares is infamous for fueling chaos and bloodshed wherever he goes. He's raw, brutal, and unpredictable. Exactly the kind of villain who could give the film that grounded, visceral edge. His dynamic with Hercules also mirrors Thor's history with Loki, two brothers torn between rivalry, admiration, and betrayal. In recent comics, Ares has been reimagined as more of an anti-hero, which opens the door for a complex, morally gray conflict rather than a simple good versus evil showdown. If Marvel keeps diving into the multiverse, Thor 5 could also explore alternate versions of the God of Thunder. There are plenty of them in the comics, from Rune King Thor to Throg and beyond. Sure, the multiverse angle has been heavily used in Loki series and Multiverse of Madness, but with the right script, it could work as a powerful exploration of identity, what it truly means to be Thor across infinite realities. No matter which direction Marvel chooses, one thing's for sure, Thor 5 is their chance to bring the thunder back to the franchise. Whether it leans toward cosmic epic, mythic tragedy, or multiversal fan service, this film needs to feel like a statement, a tribute to Thor's legacy and one of the last true pillars of the MCU. Now, let's talk visuals. The decline in VFX quality across Marvel projects hasn't gone unnoticed, and Thor: Love and Thunder was one of the biggest offenders. The CGI-heavy look and unfinished shots drew heavy criticism, especially after Marvel submitted it for the Academy Awards Visual Effects category. Many of the film's artists were under extreme pressure during the pandemic, working around the clock to meet impossible deadlines, and the rushed quality showed on screen. Since then, Marvel's taken steps to fix that issue. The success of Deadpool and Wolverine already started to rebuild confidence in the studio's visual department. And with VFX artists officially unionized now, Thor 5 has the opportunity to deliver visuals worthy of its cosmic scale. The studio needs to prove it's learned from past mistakes, because if Thor 5 truly aims to close out Hemsworth's run, it deserves nothing less than a visually stunning, emotionally powerful send-off. Another angle Marvel could explore is finally bringing back Beta Ray Bill. Fans have been waiting years to see him make his live-action debut after countless teasers, including the statue cameo back in Ragnarok. Bill's presence would fit perfectly into a more serious, myth-driven Thor 5. In the comics, he's one of Thor's greatest allies, a noble warrior worthy enough to wield his own hammer, Stormbreaker. His arrival could symbolize a passing of the torch, showing Thor that his legacy will endure long after he's gone. Plus, his alien origins tie directly into the cosmic themes of the film, potentially connecting Asgard's fate with the larger galactic struggles to come. Bringing Beta Ray Bill into the story wouldn't just please longtime fans, it would add emotional weight to Thor's final chapter, showing that even gods can inspire new heroes to rise.